So so you know how I was talking about confirmation bias. I think like I learned when I came to the space that this wasn't the experience. I literally thought that all men was going because we was going out like 3 to 4 times a week. I went out a lot when I was young, so I thought that every man was like doing the same thing. And then when I heard about the like 30% not having sex, I was like, that's impossible. So I came to the space to find out about a lot of this stuff, and I found out that it really was just a bubble of that I was in where that was I thought everybody was having the same experience. So I agree with you, AP. It's probably just like the bottle section and maybe a couple of dudes sprinkled throughout the club who actually living like that. But the majority of men, I don't listening to the space. I don't think that that's actually what's happening. I ain't
And
gonna lie.
see, and
Listen to the
yeah,
space because they can't sound like this if that was the experience.
thank you. That's the only point I wanted to make.
The red pill ranger for the fanball. It's sad to see men think women don't like sex just as much, if not more than men. The single mother race and abortion numbers beg to differ.
Okay, so let's talk about this, okay? Women have sex with men that they like, right? We can assume that most women are with somebody. Not a whole lot of bodies, but somebody. And if you continuously have sex with a person and it's unprotected, the chances of her getting pregnant are pretty, it's up there. Okay. So to assume that people are getting pregnant because they're just out here sleeping with everybody, that's not true. Some people get pregnant because they're in a consistent relationship and they're just not married, or which is most of the time. As a matter of fact, I saw a stat that said most women who had kids out of wedlock actually lived with a person. They were living with their mate when they conceived. It's just they were not married. So that's just I don't know where you guys are getting like you it's an assumption again, like, oh, she out here just it's like, no, she's out here having sex with no protection. But it doesn't have to be with everybody. It could be with one person. Anybody else?
Man, have you fixed that smoke detector yet?
That's not a smoke detector, it's carbon monoxide detector that takes a $26 battery. I bought a whole pack of it, which was like almost $60. And I changed the battery out several times and it just will not. I pushed the reset button and so I just hit the stupid thing in the closet.
Did you bring your friend over there to take a
Wait, you
look at
just
it?
hid it in the closet? That was the solution.
I thought
So
you were taking it to the
so
fire
what you
department.
hear right now is in the closet. So I put a blanket on top of it and you can still hear it.
You need to call the firefighters.
I'm gonna call them. I'm gonna bring some cookies over there. I'm like, hi. You guys speak
Wait,
this cookie?
won't you
What?
tell the guy that you was talking about earlier to come do it?
I could tell him to. I just be forgetting. Like when I be with him, I'm just in la la land. Basement door. You was on here the other day. You be hearing that
We
damn
were
thing.
trying to
Wait,
tell
so
you to
wait.
bring this
You
thing up
hear
here so we
it.
can help you
There?
fix it.
So listen, you hear it because I'm in the part of the house where it is the closet is in. But when my house is pretty big. So when he comes in, we're not in this part of the house. So
But you know
I
how
forget about it.
sometimes you can hear something over and over again, but then after a while you can't even hear it anymore.
Because I didn't hear that.
Like your children.
I want y'all to know.
Like y'all sometimes I don't even hearing y'all.
Sometimes you be hearing mommy, mommy, mommy. And after a while you just don't even hear it anymore.
So you're right.
Yeah, I
If
can't
you
hear man.
and I could have said something and I just be forgetting. I just don't hear it. I mean, it just doesn't, But go ahead. Thank you for reminding me. I'll tell them. But go ahead. Enos, you have a question?
Oh no, I was going to use a different example than mistaken. I was going to say how men seem to stop hearing the seatbelt trigger, the alarm. So I don't know if you noticed, most men will not buckle up their seatbelts, and that alarm just does not sound for them. But we hear it. I think that's how they feel about the detectors.
It's because my speakers was loud. I couldn't hear it because of the speakers.
I like that music. Oh, I hear that. Loud music.
I'm gonna tell y'all something. Something's wrong with some of the folks in our chat. This person said, "Okay, ladies, how about y'all just stop sleeping with unmarried men?" Like,
How come? He said what now? He said what?
married men ain't trying to have like kids outside of their marriage. So the point was, hey, quit
Start
sleeping
sleeping with
with.
married men. I mean, you still
What
get pregnant.
what is
Some
what is
married men
wrong
are
with
sloppy
people?
too. Let's
What
not
is
think
wrong
that
with
married
people?
men are not out here raw dogging other women sometimes. Like he'll cheat on you. Eventually he gonna start raw dogging you too. That's not it's not working. That's gonna be more people at the abortion clinic. Nah.
At
Yeah.
least the married man will
Married
pay
men are
for
not
it.
out here raw talking random women. I'm not gonna let you get that one off.
I heard
It's not happening.
Oh man.
Marcus, go ahead and finish reading.
Red pill ranger, $5. Her logic is flawed. Women can have a lot of sex without dudes having the same amount because select men slam multiple women. So I think what he was saying is the women are still having that same amount of sex. It's just 100 women sleeping with 10 guys. So they still running it up. They might have 10 partners, but all of them had 10 different partners. So so if it's 300 popping guys for 1,000 women, they might have slept with those 300 popping guys.
But it doesn't mean each one of them slept. You understand what I'm saying? The math still ain't mathing.
So okay, I get what they. So I'm just making the argument for. So all right, so if you saying you haven't met 300 attractive guys, if 300 attractive guys exist and there are 1,000 women, those 300 guys have a good chance of getting those 1,000 women. So each one of those 1,000 women could have had sex with those 300 guys. Is the way he's figuring out, I believe.
Okay.
Assuming that assuming that they're all in the same vicinity, assuming that they all seen that those same 300 guys,
exactly.
assuming that these men don't have jobs and other things they have to tend to, like, so are these guys just having sex every day of the week? Like, I'm just confused. So many variables.
No, you tried. It just ain't working. And even if a woman having a lot of sex, it sounds like too, what he's trying to do is compare women having a lot of sex and men having multiple women. I would say the difference is I think men are having more sex with multiple women, but women are having a lot of sex, but it's typically with the same man. And even if they did have multiple, I don't think their multiple would equate to the same amount of multiple that the men are having. You understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
How are they having a lot of sex if they're having sex with the same person? The reason why they're counting the bodies is because it's not with the same person.
But they can be in relationship. The relationship. This is the way that I've seen most women move. Now,
most women, not all. Most women move.
Most is that they're typically hopping from relationship to relationship, not necessarily random to random. I think what happens is they're in a they think that they're in a relationship, is going somewhere, so they're having sex with this particular person. Then that doesn't work. Then they get into another relationship and is with that person, and then that doesn't necessarily work. So if you're having sex under the basis of being in a relationship, then that's totally different than just sleeping with random dudes. The numbers are going to be totally different.
And we want to make sure you know that we're talking about the majority. We're not overlooking the people who literally just sleep with a whole lot. We've seen sluts. We're not talking about those people. They are not the majority. Okay? We know they exist, but they are by no means the majority.
I agree with you that, random sex versus relationship sex is different. I agree with that. But if you account for the amount of relationships women are getting in or situationships that women are getting in, they're still running up their body count because they think that the prerequisite to be in a relation, to have sex with a guy, is to be in a relationship. So even a good woman, if she got into 2 relationships every year and a half, right? And that's Right, cool. Maybe she might have took a couple of years off here and there. We're still going to significantly increase women's body count because they're just giving it to men because they're in a relationship, not because this guy is necessarily like committed to them. So it's a dicey situation when you look at it from that perspective, because I agree, women are still very selective. A lot of women aren't sleeping with a bunch of guys, but the thing is just like our our sexual habits really create a lot of the issues that we have in the future for generations to come. So I'm
You,
just really concerned about what's going on.
let me just tell you this. This is just it's no research. It's just what I've seen. There are women who have to have sex with men to get attention, and there are women who don't have to have sex with men to get attention. I find that even when on a high school level, when I look up, there are women who I guess they have low self-esteem. They feel that's the only way they're gonna get a male, because women like attention. They like to be adored. And what moment are you most adored? When you sleep with a man, right? And so that women want that attention so much that they're just like, oh, and they can't get it any other way. So you do have women who have low self-esteem. They want to feel attractive. They want to feel desired by a man, and so they feel the only way they can get the desire is by sleeping with them. And so it's not the man, it's just the desire that they're after. And they're like, oh, but I want to be held. And they feel like by sleeping with a guy, and then they get held for it, and they don't realize it's just not working out for them. You understand what I'm saying? So there are women like that. I've noticed that the woman who sleeps around does not get the attention any other way. And that's the reason why she has gone for that, to be that type of person, because that's given her desired outcome, which is desirability. But go ahead.
So
Can I ask you a
would
question?
Yes.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think that women should stop having sex with men, like,
Yes.
or like until they get into like a fiance situation or a marriage situation?
Yes.
Why is that?
It is not getting us. So look, it goes back to why buy the cow when you get the milk free? At some point we got to realize it's just not working for us. Why would he commit to you? Why would he settle down with you if you're giving him everything that he wants, and he doesn't have to do anything? You're not getting what you want, but he's getting what he wants. So if everybody would just close their legs, get you a little toy. What's that toy called, mistaken, that you were advertising to me?